Y'all, we made it. We are at the last episode of season 2. And you know, I love doing things in 12. It's my earth number. So we do that every season. And I say every season because this is season 2 and there is already a season 3 in the works. The ladies behind the mic, that's going to be super interesting. But like as always, I am excited to be here today. I follow this woman on Instagram, you know, and she's just such an uplifting person. We are in the same circles in this random way. And I feel super blessed to have May. I'm going to call her Maven. She's a Maven. She's a Mave. But I'm super excited to have her on my show. And I just want to thank all my listeners out there for rocking with me for 2 whole fucking seasons and rocking in for LaRae Infinity, Let's Talk on the Side, and Let's Talk to Men About It, and even on All Real Radio. So I appreciate everybody out there that's been listening and supporting. Let's talk. Warning, in this podcast, there is cursing and adult content.
Hello, my name is Maven Myra Shaw, and I am 50 years old. My zodiac sign is a Cancer, and my goal today is to help you learn strategies to move from stuck to execution. You're listening today to LaRae Infinity, Let's Talk Podcast Season 2.
This podcast is all about taking the story that we're supposed to tell, throwing it out the window and telling that unapologetic story the way we want to tell it in our own time and own words. And I'm the host, LaGina. Yes, wonderful. Okay, we're going to just dive right in. This is going to be easy. We're both Cancers. Yes, y'all, me and Myra have never met in person. So another one of those serendipitous things of 2020.
Yes.
Where'd you grow up?
So I grew up in Brazoria, which is about an hour. I live in Northwest Houston, so it's about an hour and a half south of where I live. So about an hour south of Houston. So small town Texas. Listen, okay, that's a different type of living. And for me, you know, when I was, this is a crazy story. I was, you know, going through college, didn't finish, but the company that offered me the scholarship, which was Dow Chemical, I was working for them part-time and going to school part-time. So they hired me on full-time and I was doing administrative work and I was bored to tears. Okay. So what I started doing was asking people in my department, so what do you do? And if I saw that they were going to be coming up on vacation for a week, I'm like, why don't you teach me a few things you do? So while you're out, I can help you. So when you come back, you're not trying to play so much.
You're straight up hustler. I'm living for you now.
And so I started doing that. And my manager, it was time for a review. And he told me, older white guy, listen, all we need you to do is basically be the admin. We don't need you to learn new stuff, do new stuff. Now, again, this is small town Texas. That was on a Friday. When I came back to work on Monday, I resigned. I didn't have no job, but I knew if I stayed there, I would lose my oxygen source. I felt like I would die. And because I was a good employee, they went through the hoops of finding me a job at the Dow Center in Houston. That's how I literally moved to Houston, because I'm not going to have enough oxygen if I stay in this town and be forced to stay in this job. I in that moment, you could not have told me that I was physically not going to die. And I came in Monday. So over the weekend, I had gotten a Houston Post at the time and was circling admin jobs in Houston, Texas. I was like, just circling. And when I got to work Monday, I resigned. He was like, well, what happened? We just had a great review on Friday. I said, you had a great review. That wasn't great for me. And he's like, well, let us help you. Let us find you a spot. That's literally how I moved to Houston. And it was, for me, it was non-negotiable. I was moving. Now you could help or not, but I'm going, period. And that's literally probably 23, 24, something like that. But it was like, this has to end and I've got to move to the next, whatever. I had no idea what the next part of the journey was going to look like. When you hear the saying, God looks out for fools and babies, listen.
I'm a fool.
Okay. I was just going for it. I'm like, I just have to get out of this. We'll figure out the next step, period. And that's literally how I moved from small town Texas to Houston.
Wow.
I
Okay.
know, right?
Higher education. I love how you say sometimes necessary.
Yeah. We have a lot of people in Western culture with, thousands upon thousands of dollars of debt and student loan. And even, you come out of college and you're not even able to make enough money to live and pay that.
Mhm.
That's a broken system. Higher education is very necessary for some things, but I think we're definitely moving toward a more gig economy. And for young people, they are not sold on this idea of getting into thousands of dollars of debt to maybe come out and be able to scrape by. They are looking more at skill sets and crafts, which is really where the world is moving to. So I think having an open mind about that and really looking at what you desire. Now, obviously, if you want to be a doctor, we need you to go to school. I don't want you touching me without your degree, right?
Right.
That makes sense. But there's definitely, when you look at the tech space, there's so many things that you can learn as a trade, certificate program, and be about making your money without all the debt that comes with it. And formal schooling. I think schooling is important, but not necessarily the formal schooling. When I see things on Instagram that maybe there's a commercial about a coding class or a gamification class for young people, I send it to all of the parents that have children that I know. Because it could be something that, the traditional routes are still good, but there's such a big world out there that if kids sometimes can just be introduced to something they haven't seen anybody in their family do, then you never know what light that might turn on in their lives.
And you never know. And also, even as an entrepreneur, it's weird. I think especially within the Black community, I always talk to my friends about this, but even our parents and our grandparents that may have forged away, they were so busy keeping their head above water,
right,
and working, that 10 times as hard to even get that one level up, that sometimes the lesson or the actuality of it didn't get passed on. And so now that I'm right in the middle of it, and my dad passed, my mom's telling me all this stuff that my dad did as an entrepreneur, and it's just wow, okay. And then finding out that I have a great uncle that owned a grocery store, and it's wow. And I had a great aunt that went to college, and it's wow. So
the roots are there.
The roots are so there. And so you grew up in a small town in Texas. What was the family like? Are you the oldest, youngest, only?
I'm the baby. I'm the baby. But here's the funny thing. So I have 4 older siblings and a half sister, but my siblings here, they grew up together. My closest sibling to me is 14 years older. So it's my mother had 4 children, and then whoopsie, 14 years later, here comes little Miara. And so I kind of grew up like an only child for a bit, because my oldest brother was for sure out of the house by the time, I came along. He's 19 years older than I am. Yes, 19 years older. So I grew up as really kind of like an only child. I am the baby. I call it of our squad. But oddly enough, my mom passed about 7 years ago. And my mom, I would say, was the matriarch of our family. And when she passed, that role kind of got handed to me. Listen, I didn't want it. Okay, y'all can have this. I don't even need this. I'm good. But it just, these are not the types of things we select, to put our name beside. But it's just what happened. And when my mother passed in May of 2014, that January of the next year would have been her first birthday since passing. And I had a dream about her. I had a dream about her that night, but the dream was literally a vision of my business today. That's been 7 years ago. I was terrified because I had not even really started on this part of my journey, the Maven journey. And there she was showing it to me before it even started. And I cried for 2 days. But that dream created another paradigm shift in my life. And that is when my Maven journey began. Literally from January 28th, 2015. precisely
Wow.
that day. Yeah.
Wow.
She's like, I've made her speechless. Yes. It was, and my mother, the last 3 months of my mother's life, she lived up here by me in a assisted living facility, etc. And so I got to see her every day. Mm-hmm. And I learned so much about myself in that time with my mother. I'm tenacious and pretty badass, but my mother, listen, that apple fell right under that tree. Mm. I just, when I look back on it, my mother was always very black and white. You staying or you going, you in or you out. It's red or it's green. And that's really how I moved throughout life, which is why when I was still in corporate and was a natural gas trader for 15 years, one of the few Black female natural gas traders in the country, I was so good at it because you have to just make quick decisions. You're in or you're out, you're buying or, and that was my natural personality. But those last months of my mom's life, I got to see that I got that directly from her. Like, that's who she was without ever saying, I'm a very decisive person. I remembered how she moved and how she spoke and how she carried out things in life. And it was very decisive. And I'm a very decisive person. Mm. Now, that decision could be wrong, but we'll fix that later.
What's something that's quirky about you?
Because I am a very intuitive person, I often see and hear things that people are not saying, and I don't want to.
Trust.
I'd be like, okay, Jesus, can we just turn that gift off for today? You know what I'm saying? And so people that might not know me might think, oh, maybe she's not approachable or she's standoffish. I'm not. I'm just a girl. I really am. But I don't play. I don't do foolishness. That's like, it makes me itch. Like, yeah. I'm not here for any of it. And I think one of the things I don't know if you would call this a quirk, but this is how I describe myself. When I meet a person, you have a green light.
I already know.
If you do something a little shady, I'm going to move you to yellow. And now I'm like, But if I have to move you to red, it's a wrap. Because my favorite quote in the whole wide world is, when people show you who they are, believe them.
The first time.
The first time. That's my favorite quote. And I really live by that. I really do. Because, again, the intuitive gift, you're trying to show me one thing, but then you want me to see. But I can sadly see the other thing that you don't want me to see. And once you show me, and I don't try to change people or judge them on it. I just want to meet you where you are, so that we don't have any problems later. Yeah. I just want to meet you where you are.
It is a burden when you can see people, yes. especially when people don't understand how that works and what that means. And I've learned to have a little discernment as far as my yellow light, because sometimes it's okay to appreciate the ugly in people. Yes. And that's something that's like kind of interesting to sit on. But yeah, I'll be like, that person, something's wrong. And it could be somebody that everybody likes. And so sometimes you just seem like the hater or mean or crazy. And you're like, I'm really not. I love most people.
Yeah. You learn in the process to extend grace, just to keep extending, I'm going to extend grace to a degree. Okay. But, when I have a question mark about something and you confirm it a couple of times, okay, listen, we're just not going to rock in the same space. And that's okay. And I literally had to have this conversation with a friend last week. They were trying to have lunch with somebody that I'm not going to have lunch with. And listen, y'all go have lunch. I'm not bothered by it. I'm not going to be like, y'all not cutting for me because none of that. I know what my crazy line is. Okay. And I'm not going to put myself in a situation where I need to be checking people for what?
All right, y'all. I hope you like what you're hearing, because you're listening to the LaRae Infinity Let's Talk podcast, season 2 finale. Follow us on Instagram at LRI Let's Talk to catch up on all of season 2. All right, now back to the listen. Enjoy.
I try not to put myself in those situations where I'm going to have to give my direct talk. to somebody because I'm a very direct talker. I can give it to you in love, but it's going to come out in a very direct way.
It's exacting. Yeah. And I was about to say, and we get this heartbeat and it's like, oh, fuck, we got to do it. All right. Well, and until you finish the last word and that last piece of fire is out of your soul, you're hearing it. And I was like, I told you, don't come for me. Don't send for me. Like, I'll sit here fine in my fancy. Don't send for me.
And it's funny how friends that they really trust you, they will call sometimes and they're talking about something, they're dancing around it. And I just go, do you want me to tell you why you really call me? Mm-hmm. And they're like, yeah, just go ahead and tell me. And sometimes people need that gentle, hey, this is going to be okay. You're going to be fine. We just need to make a small pivot in your business or whatever it is. And you're going to be fine. And sometimes people need to hear, you need to get your shit together. Yeah. And quit playing. How many times are you going to restart? What are you doing? And they're like, you're right. I needed to hear that. And that is the thing they needed to move to the other side. Mm-hmm. And when my clients come, they're like, Miara, just tell me exactly. Don't try to make it softer or gentler. Just tell me. That's one of the things they trust about me. They know if I'm telling them something, it's never to harm you. It's never to harm you. I can say at 50, I have done a lot of work to try to get this mouth under control so that I'm not just somebody tap my fool button and then they just get it. I have to be more responsible than that. So that's why I try to protect my space and not be put in situations where, somebody might tap my fool button and then get the whole fool. We don't really want that out in the public like that.
Y'all, I just have to say, like, I'm skinning and grinning. You can't see me, but Miara can see me. And she's probably like, why does this fool keep smiling? Because I just feel like we are heart, song, soul, sister, yes. Love it. Like, I'm just like, this is just like me, but like amplified on this whole another level. So I'm just like, yes.
And that hard work, that is the biggest thing that keeps people stuck. One of my mottos is I move women from stuck to execution. And most of the time, it is that hard stuff, especially creatives. Man, listen, y'all want to talk to folks and create the 10 things a day. And then when I'm like, well, where's the strategy? What's the end game? Well, I'd be like, look, you got to do that part. And it's, this is the thing that creatives have the toughest time with, from my perspective. They really want to just be creative. They don't want to do the hard stuff, the business stuff, setting up the accounting, making sure your invoices are paid, making sure people paid you. Like, why are you rolling for months with unpaid payments to you? Mm-hmm. It's because I created now another thing and another thing. And I'm like, don't create nothing else. Mm-hmm. Make excellent the thing that you have. Get one thing out into the earth, rolling solid. That's generating income. Then you can take that money and put it back into your other creative forms. But creatives have a hard time with that because they just want to keep creating. So they'll have 10 open projects with no end in sight, no end game for them. In their mind, they have it, but it's not written down anywhere. Nobody's scrutinized it. Nobody's checked it. Nobody's looked at the risk holes. They just want to create. And I'm like, that's real beautiful. But if you're going to make some money and be able to sustain this, you got to get a front to end on something and put that out into the world. Then you can continue creating.
And amen, and amen on a Sunday. That's true. So speaking of no end games and planning stuff and being creative and everything else, what is something that you have fabulously failed at?
Oh God. Just one. Listen.
You do what you do.
So one of the things when I first went full-time into my business as a full-time entrepreneur, which has been 6 years ago, that's so crazy that went that fast. But I developed this online program, to teach entrepreneurs X, Y, and Z. I don't even clearly remember what it was right now. Baby, it's so zero. I mean, crickets. I was sure that people were going to like what I had, and here's the lesson in that. I made a post today that said, there's never a wasted experience if you get the lesson. Never a wasted experience. No matter how painful, how much money it costs you, how deep the sorrow was. There's never a wasted experience if we can get the lesson. And the lesson for me out of that is stop making things that you think are great. I call it reverse engineering. Go to the end first. Who needs this? And are they willing to pay for it? That's the only reason you should create something that you want to make a financial gain from. Now, if it's a passion project, then it's a passion project. But if you're trying to do something that's going to generate income, you got to go to the end and say, who is the customer for this? Are they willing to pay the price point that I have in mind to create for it? And if you cannot find a true market for that, don't create it. And I'm happy that I learned that in the first year, because I haven't made that sizable, because I spent about $6,000 on that. Huh? What? Yeah, that was, listen, that hit my pocket deep. We won't repeat that lesson. We got that one. And so that's why I say there's no wasted experience. And I was, if I've got to get that lesson, I'm happy to get it earlier than later.
So fabulous failures are a thing. I go back and forth with guests all the time because people are like, I haven't failed. I'm like, I have all the time.
I say, if you have not failed, you're not trying hard enough. You are being too comfortable. If you have not failed, you are being way too comfortable, because when you are stretching yourself, stretching your faith to believe for something that you can't see it all, because if you can see it all, that means you can control it all, and you don't need faith for what you cannot see.
Yeah.
When you have to step into that faith realm and really trust that what you know to believe is true and what you saw that you're supposed to create is going to work out, that's a different level right there. That's a different level. That's, I say to entrepreneurs when they say, what's one of the biggest lessons that you learn as a full-time entrepreneur? And I said, if you're a believer, that I thought I had faith, but it's a different type of faith when a check hits your account automatically every other week. It's a different type of faith when you have to work to make sure that check hits. Okay. Because in corporate, I could do well on that. I could call in sick. I'm going to get the same check. It's not how it works as an entrepreneur, and really having to trust your faith that this is my assignment in the earth. I am my Maven quote, CPR. I'm capable, I'm prepared, and I'm ready to do my very next step. I'm not worried about step 30. If I'm at step 3, I can do step 4. That's what I'm CPR for. The very next step that I have in front of me, that's going to keep my faith up and keep me moving forward for the purpose that I was created to deliver. Not what my neighbor was created to do, not what my cousin, what I was purposed in the earth to do. CPR, capable, prepared, and ready for your very next step.
I'm CPR, and I'm saying that like, hallelujah. Would you rather be crazy rich or deeply in love?
Oh, deeply in love. My God.
Why?
My husband and I will have been married for 19 years next month.
Congratulations.
19. Thank you. Dated for 3. So and through 19 years, we've had peaks and valleys on the financial front. We've never decided to throw each other away because of the money. Now, I know that's not everybody's story, okay? Money is one of the largest things that causes divorce and separation and all of these things. But as a 50-year-old Black female that's been on the earth and having had and have great love from my husband and have made great money, oh man, I take love over money any day. Because with love, we can go create more money. But just because you have money doesn't mean you're going to get love.
Okay, we have, so for this season, I've been waiting for episode 12, y'all, because we have a split for season 2. Season 1, a lot of our ladies picked love. I think there's maybe one that picked money. And season 2, I think it's out of 12, 4 said money. And the reasons make sense to me. And the reasons for love make sense to me. So, there was 2, much like me, that we're going to play the middle. I'm going to pick to be deeply in love and have the money.
Absolutely. And that's why I say when you're in love, you can go make the money. If you don't have love, you can still have the money. But what is money without love?
How about this? Because this just came to me while you were saying that, because I've been going back and forth with this question for almost 2 years now. But what if it depends on your definition and your experience with love to how, and also your understanding of money and the duality between the both of them?
I don't believe that there is probably a single opinion or decision that any of us have that has not been formed from our backstory. Everything we are now as adults have, most of it has been formed from our backstory. So if your family struggled financially, listen, you are like, screw love, I am about the money. It changes your perspective. Now, here's the thing about that. As an adult, it is my responsibility and right to, if I want to change that perspective, I have to do the work. I have a Maven quote that says, the work is not skippable. That's the internal work. That has nothing to do with the external things we see about people, the business, how they rock their hair, the shade of lipstick, all of those things. Skippable is the internal work. And if you don't like the backstory that you had, because, we were the children, our parents were the ones raising us. If you want to change that perspective now, that's your ability. You have the right to do that. You're not required to, but every decision and opinion we have, most of it is formed from our backstory. Imagine those ladies that said, no, I'm all about the money. There's some backstory that have formed that. The women with the love, there's some backstory. And so with that, I wouldn't say there's a right or wrong.
Right.
It's your life. Your perspective was formed by your journey, and nobody can take that from you. That if there's something in it you want to change, then you have to do the work to change it.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're talking about the backstory. What was one of your biggest challenges as a young adult?
Biggest challenges. So for me, I got married. So I've been divorced once. I got married very, very early, like 21. I don't think anybody should get married in their early 20s. You just don't know yourself as an adult. Yeah. You're still growing and forming and learning who you are at that age. And so I then had 2 children with my first husband. And when I got divorced, that was really my first time being fully on my own and all of that. And so I felt like that was a challenge, because at that point I was late 20s, that I really had to figure out who Miara was as a woman, because now I'm a grown ass woman and a mother of 2. I was just getting kind of to figure that, like I had to figure it out at that point. But when most people would have gone through that, through their 21, 22, through that journey, during that journey, I was being a wife and a mother. And so when it came, all of that changed, that challenge. And I remember crying one day, just like, oh my God, like, well, what the hell am I supposed to do now? I don't have a husband. I have these 2 children. I'm a single parent of 2 now. Like what actually am I supposed to be doing right now? And I definitely remember crying about that and just really feeling overwhelmed that I was at this age and at this particular point in my life. And like, where's the roadmap for this? What lane am I supposed to get in right now? And I just found that to be very challenging and uncomfortable, because we as humans like comfort and we want to be able to project and plan. And I just remember that being, more than anything, unsettling and just so uncomfortable to have to be trying to figure that out at that age or that stage in my life. But honey, we did all right. We had some flops for sure, but we did all right. We're now 50, and I would say we pulled through all right.
You're 50 and you said you have 4 plus 1, so 5 kids?
We have 4. So we have a blended family of 4. So I had 2, my husband had 2. So when we got married, we had a blended family of 4, because they predominantly lived with us, all 4. So we pretty much raised them. And it was funny. So when we got married, my husband has the oldest and the youngest, and I had the 2 in the middle. So the oldest and my son are a year apart. then we have like a 3-year gap, and then the last 2 are a year apart. So it all worked out. Like, it really, I would not change a thing about that whole journey. And although I didn't birth my 2 stepsons, those are my children. Okay. Love them to pieces. You know, I would discipline them just like I discipline mine. Like, I'm not waiting for your daddy. You cut up, let's get with it. You know, that was the type of family that we endeavored to raise, and to raise kind people, and people that can be functioning well in society. You know, it wasn't a focus of, you know, you got to take this career and get rich and all of that. My hope is that our children find the things that they were purposed to do, that they breathe it into the earth and find their peace, passion, and prosperity from those things, and not some, you know, this is what I think you should be doing, because, you know, it's not up to me to decide for them what God has already purposed for them to do.
And the one thing that reigns true is that I'll fuck with you if you're kind and you're a good human. We can start there, and then we can go. And then, you know, kind of like you were saying, with sometimes everybody you can't rock with. They're in a place where you can't rock with them. I have people that come in and out of my life. I'm like, okay, well, we need to exit for a little while. And hell, sometimes I've had to exit on people because I wasn't in a spot. Like,
right. I have a quote that says, I am not for everybody and everybody is not for me. And I'm okay with that. Doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you or not. Everybody's not my assignment. And that's the thing that I say about women. I tell women, we have this group hug thing. Like, no, let's all go together. Let's all, you know, I'm growing, I want you to grow. And it's great to want those things, but everybody's not ready. Everybody doesn't want to do it at the pace you're doing it, at the trajectory that you're doing it. And we have to, I think that's one of the great things I've been able to learn and get better at, is to let people be who they are.
Is there something from your past that you've gone through or witnessed that you don't like to talk about?
I think it had been the not finishing college thing. And even a more profound revelation that was supposed to be part of my journey for a reason of helping give other women hope that their journey is not abandoned because they didn't finish college. I was getting ready for a board meeting that I was sitting on at the time, and this has probably been 10 years ago, and I was brushing my teeth. And as I was brushing my teeth, I was thinking the thought, well, maybe I should go back to college and just get any degree just so I can say I have a degree. And as I was brushing my teeth, I heard God say to me, if you start to lie about how I got you to the place that I got you, you're telling me the path I chose for your journey was not good enough.
Well, damn.
I swear to you. And I was like, oh, wait. That's not what I was saying. And that is what gave me the freedom to then be able to share that message from a stage as to why I didn't finish, why I don't currently have any intentions on going back. Maybe in the future that might change, but right now I have no desire or need for it. It was that brushing the teeth moment where I so clearly heard that. And even in that moment, I still didn't understand why it was so important for me to understand and be able to share why I didn't finish. To share that, why do I need to share that? But then when I shared it and the women were lined up with tears in their eyes about how it gave them hope, I was like, there it is right there. That's the answer.
You are listening to the LaRae Infinity Let's Talk podcast. Hey, y'all, did you know that we go live almost every Tuesday when we're in season? You should go back and binge watch all of the IGTV episodes at LRI Let's Talk on Instagram. All right, enjoy the listening.
You know, but you're right. That ability to tell your truth gives confidence to other people to be able to tell their truth. It really does. And if like that moment with those women standing there, like it was so crystal clear to me as to why I was supposed to be sharing that. Even through some of the kind of grieving process that I went through with my mom, I can't tell you how many friends I've had conversations with after they've lost their mom. And like when I look back and go, oh, wow, that's why I went through that experience and remembered that so clearly. Now I'm sharing it with another woman, and she now feels hope that she's going to be able to come out on the other side of this grief. Because she's looking at me living life full and like, how did you survive that? And I'm like, here are some ways that I survived that. You know, oftentimes, you know, everybody doesn't have the same assignment in life. And I believe some of us have 10-gallon bucket dreams and some have a 1 gallon, but all of those gallons, every piece is needed. And when we are 10-gallon people, I believe I'm a 10-gallon person. It's my responsibility to do the things that I'm equipped to do. Everyone is not equipped to lead first or to do the thing that where there's no charted path for it. But if I'm equipped, it's my responsibility to do the work that I'm supposed to do, so that I've now carved a path or left some breadcrumbs.
Maven, do you consider yourself a sexually enlightened person?
Ooh. I would say maybe 50-50. I don't really even know how to answer that. But I will say this. For those that I consider to be more sexually enlightened than I feel like I am, I let them be great.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's the whole, well, why is she doing that and judging people? That's not for me. That's not my job to judge how somebody else feels about their sexuality and their experience. Be great. Do you? Yeah.
Yeah. I like that answer because, like, I swear sometimes, like, I'm so sexually enlightened. Like, I know it all. Like, it's great. And then sometimes I'm like, oh, wow.
Right.
Oh.
Because some people are real enlightened and you'd be like, oh, I didn't even know. I didn't know. Okay. Yeah.
And then some people I'm like, oh, I mean, I thought that was boring, but you're saying it's crazy. So I think once again, it goes within that realm of the 10-gallon and 1 gallon water.
Yes.
Some people's sex is that 10-gallon. It's some people it's 1. I may be at like a 5-gallon level. I have capacity for maybe 2 more gallons.
Right. That's what I think about 50-50. And you know, those that are at the 10, listen, be great. Be great.
What's something that you really, really like about yourself?
My acceptance of people, my kindness to people. Now, again, when I meet people, they have the green light. Now, how you manage the light, I'm going to leave to you. Because if I have to move you to a red, then it's not that I'm not going to be kind. I'm just not going to be able to interact with you. But I think that that's such a needed thing that we lack in today's world of being kind to another human. Okay, we have different political views. We have different religious views. We have different, all of these other views. But you are human. And the least I can do is simply be kind. Yeah. So I like that about myself, that I feel like I'm kind to people. Now, again, if I have to put you in the red, then I'm still going to be kind. We're just not going to rock together.
Yeah, but you know, they always say like the kindest person or the quietest person is the craziest.
And see, for me, how I handle my crazy is I put the space there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not gonna let you tap my fool button and make me cut up. I don't want to do. Cause listen, that other girl, she's mean. She is. I know it. She's mean. That's why I don't let people tap on my fool button. I just be like, no, I'm gonna stage exit left because we're not gonna be able to do it together. No. Yeah.
Yeah. Just no. Yeah. Just like the cancer, the crab, like if that animal, if you watch it on the Discovery Channel, that's me. Like when I get agitated, I kind of do the little dance, clap my little claws. I'm like, leave me alone. Leave me alone. Don't come for me. Don't sit. Leave me alone. Let me go back inward.
Right.
But once we go hot,
I say if you come for me, sometimes you're gonna get me. That's not who you want. That's not it. Trust me, it's not it.
And it's not even that clap back like Brad, but like, bitch, I didn't know.
Right, no, like, I'm not gonna do all that. Yeah.
Just leave me alone. Like, don't have LaGina Ray. Like, LaGina Ray is not the nicest person.
My middle name is Lynn. I say, don't do Myra Lynn. We leave her in the box with the lid on it. Leave her alone.
Legina Ray is the name that like my parents used to get my attention. And so
yes.
we know that comes with the levels.
Yes. Yes,
Myra Lynn. So Legina
Yes.
Ray and Myra Lynn do not need to go anywhere together. Like they stay away from each other for the rest of our lives. Okay. So in the same very breath, you're kind. And you know, that comes with caveats to it. Like we don't take our kindnesses for weaknesses. What's something that you've always been working on or that you wish that you liked about yourself at this current time in life?
Just being more accepting of my body. Okay. That's been a journey. I work out 4 days a week, and I've had to come and it's not, you know, people, oh, you work out a lot. But at this point in my life, I'm not working out to be like trying to lose weight. Like I need to lose 20 pounds to get in a size 8. That's probably not going to happen. And I'm very okay with that.
Right.
It's just accepting my curves for what they are. A lot of mine, they are genetic. It rolls like this in my family. And the working out, I say, helps me to keep my curves in line. That's it. I'm not trying to necessarily always, and I don't, you know, I think one of the words we did, you said diet, and I said boo. I don't do
Yeah.
diets. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what is your healthy lifestyle you want to create and to pursue that? And I think for me, and I think for a lot of women, that's always a work in progress. That's always a journey of moving toward loving yourself more, accepting yourself more, that you don't have to fit into this particular type of cute or pretty box, you know, rocking who you are. And I think that's one of those journeys. I wish I was like already just 100% there, but I'm not. And it's just one of those things. I think as time, I just get closer and closer to just being fully accepting of the Myra that I am.
Yeah, I see you on IG and I'm like, okay, she better be out there working out. She better get it.
About the working out, I love strength training.
Yeah.
I hate cardio per se, but I, you know, I'm not a yoga person because I want to sweat and I want my muscles to ache and all of that. Like that makes me feel so strong. Most importantly, it helps me keep my mind balanced. It like if I don't stay consistent on my workouts, my work drops, my ability to stay focused and consistent, it all kind of starts to crumble down. The workout is really kind of the center, that and my prayer meditation life in the morning, that is what keeps me flowing in my balance rhythm. When one of those gets abandoned, like I can't work out or I jump up in the morning and don't do prayer, meditation and stretching, like the whole thing is off. That's kind of my center. The working out, the prayer life, the meditation, that's what keeps me kind of moving in on all cylinders in a good way.
Yeah, most definitely. I like yoga. Have you ever done Bikram's yoga? Okay.
I did it and it worked. I was relaxed. But listen, it go all the way down. And I'm like, I don't want to be that relaxed. Like, I'm good. Like, I know. Now, that's what I should have answered on when you asked me about a quirk. Like, I don't need to go all the way down. Like, yeah, the yoga, like, I'd be laid out. Like, it really just, the whole thing. And so I feel like, because I'm a very levelized emotional person. I'm not often stretched out under the world or dancing on top of it. I'm pretty levelized. And that type of stuff like drops me, seems like so low that it takes so much energy to kind of get back up and get yourself going again. I'll be like, oh Lord, I'm done for the day. And I just can't really be done for the day every time I take a yoga class.
Yoga was a challenge for me when I started. Like, I consider myself a yogi now, but I started my journey in Austin. And so I'm with all those little skinny white girls. And it's like, I'm like, how? But I am very like high, low. Like my emotions go up and they go very down. And so yoga has taught me how to stay in that middle, or how to get from the lows back to the middle. I love yoga. I love doing 5K challenges. I like lifestyle change challenges versus diets, because diets are But I enjoy keto, and I think it has
Yeah.
to go back to what you were saying with the focus and the balance and everything else. What is something that you feel like you learned just a little bit too late?
That in the entrepreneurial world, everyone that says they can do what they say they can do, they can't do it. Meaning, people sometimes I think feel like, oh, if I just make a Facebook page and say I'm the boom boom guru, you the boom boom guru, but you have no experience. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're taking real dollars from people and not being able to deliver on things. And it took me a couple of years into entrepreneurship to not just take people at their word that, oh, I'm a great this person. And they're really not, at least not for what I need. And I just wish that was something that I had picked up more quickly, because it cost me some money. You know, it cost me some money.
It costs a lot of money. When we were younger, in all senses, our femininity was at some level, and it was presented to us a certain kind of way. And, you know, we go through the iterations of what that looks like for us and how we're managing it and everything else. So where you are right now, how do you successfully hang on to your definition of femininity?
You know, for me, I personally don't get caught up in all the newest trends around femininity. I feel like every couple of months there's a new word added that's supposed to describe something. And I'm like, okay, I'm comfortable in who I am, and I'm comfortable in how I do what I do. There's a period there. I just leave the rest of it alone. Because it's like we're on this thing to just keep creating more words to describe feminine. Like, why do we need 10 more? Like, it's the most bizarre thing to me. And it's like people are trying, maybe people are not understanding who they are or comfortable with who they are. So they feel if they keep making more words, they're going to find it, I guess. But for me, I'm comfortable with who I am. I'm comfortable with how I do what I do. And there's a period there. I don't even try to figure out all the latest and greatest things that are happening right now. If that's working for people, again, I say go be great. But I can't try to keep up with the trend. It just seems like that particular topic, there's a lot of moving parts around it right now, of it trying to be stretched or decreased, or you are or you're not. Because and I'm like, what are we talking about right now? It's too much. Yeah. So for me, I'm confident in my femininity and how I display it and feel it's good for me. And I put a period on the end of that.
Yep. What are some of your favorite things about your femininity?
My eyes, my confidence. I believe my confidence is very feminine. Because I am a person that's frequently on stage and in public, when I walk into a room, I'm good just to be in the room. I don't like, hey, look at me. Like, my confidence does not require loud.
It is so loud.
And I get that all the time. That's why I'm just like, I'm just cool. Like, I don't need to wave the flag and be like, Myra's here. You're going to feel that I'm here. Okay. And so that part of my femininity, I really enjoy. I like, and I like the surprise interaction that I get with people who feel that energy from me. Is like, oh gosh, like, I don't know if I can say hi or, approach. And then I'm like, hey girl, hey, what's up? And they're like, oh my God, she's a real person. Girl, I'm just a girl. I'm just a girl.
Just a girl in this world trying to get shit done.
Yes, it is. So I love that about my feminine energy, that it's kind of big, but yet when you talk to me, I'm just like, so what you got going on? How can I help you? What do you need? And that's it. It's that simple. It's not a confidence that needs to be loud. I don't need to make it loud. It's naturally going to be what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Y'all, ladies and gentlemen, Miara is feminine as fuck. Period. Like, that's what it is.
Period, poo.
Period. And I just have to say, when I reached out to her about being on the podcast, she was like, yes, send me the email. Boom. It was like literally that easy. It was, and not saying y'all all can't have her on your podcast. She can't be on everybody's things. I understand that because this woman is about her business and everything else. But being approachable, just because you're moving up, just because you're doing shit, just because you're being somebody, does not mean your approachability ever has to go away. And we know
Absolutely.
From your own mouth and from this podcast that you have people that are your checks and balances, and then we'll pull at your coattails to let you know.
Yes, it's their job.
I love everything about you. I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody that's been listening throughout all of season 2. Let me know your favorite episode. Tell me what I can do to be a better podcaster. Tell me how I can show up for the communities that I'm representing, especially our women, through all the podcasts. Let's talk on the side. If there's an idea for a little side talk episode you want me to talk about trust, I'll talk about it. And let's talk to men about it. That has been a very transformative conversation. And I look forward to continuing to have men a part of the conversations about women, because women are not monolithic and neither are the experiences that people have with women. So once again, Maven Miara Shaw, Miss Miara, Maven for me. I want to thank you for being on the show. And I want to know if there's anything else you'd like to share, shutting down season 2, or you want to tell me or my audience and guests.
Yeah. So one of the things I want folks to remember, that even through, 2020 was a tough year for a lot of people. And I want folks to remember that no matter what your experience has been, good or bad, and you might be in a tough experience right now, that there is no wasted experience if you will get the lesson, because your future self needs it. If you don't get the lesson, you're going to have to repeat it again until you get the lesson, because your future self needs it. And that no matter what you're going through, you are CPR, you're capable, you're prepared, and you're ready for your very next step.
Yes, I may be young, but I'm ready. Yes. That's everything to me, y'all. And as we're moving through the world, and you're seeing everything going on, and you're having your own experiences, and you're taking in 2016, 17, 18, 19 and 2020 especially, and we're celebrating being in 2021. Always try to walk in your truth.
Yeah.
And be an authentic person. And as always, tell your story, be your own brand, live your truth, and stand in your moment.
All right, y'all. My name is Maven Miara Shaw, and I am 50 years old. And I hope that y'all gain some insight so that you can move from stuck to execution in your journey. You just listen to my story as I live my truth and stand in my moment on the LaRae Infinity Let's Talk podcast, season 2.
Yes, closing out season 2. Thank you so much.
Excellent. You are very welcome.
Beep. All right.
Come on, Apple.
Apple products. Oh, I see you're on Clubhouse, but we'll talk about that another time.
Yes.
I have a whole thought about that. Okay. Beep.
Okay.
I love that. That's like, y'all, this is the reason, like, you get gut feelings. You get these gut feelings, and obviously the universe works for you most days. And this is why I have Miara as my season finale guest, because it's just right. Period.
Right.
Okay, it's just right. Okay. Beep. And then when you're ready, you can do your closing.
I forgot about that.
I mesmerized you.
Yes.